Welcome to the Truth Has No Sides podcast. These conversations will be had to expand the minds and the consciousness of you, the listener. If you like the content of the show, please like the video and subscribe to our channel to help this message be seen and heard by more people. Thank you for being here and enjoy the episode. All right, the two red dots. We are good. We're recording. Today's guest is coming to us from Austria. Her name is Eva Müller. She has come about in the last year or so, year or two. She's been on some good-sized podcasts, making the rounds with all the podcasts with quite the views. So we're very honored to have her here on our little podcast. Eva, I'm not a big fan of bios, so I like the guest to just kind of talk about who they are, what they're about, and we'll just go off for as long as we want.
Okay, sounds amazing. So first of all, thank you so much for having me on your podcast. I really appreciate to be here. And hello, everybody who's listening. My name is Eva Müller. I'm from Austria. I work as a healer and spiritual teacher, and I am on YouTube, and I work on Zoom. I work with people from all over the world. And I work with groups mostly. And I help people to heal and clear their human system and then eventually to realize their true nature. That's what I'm doing.
Okay. So let's start from the beginning then. Was this something you understood at a young age? Was this something that came online when you were older? What was childhood like for you?
Mm-hmm. I mean, childhood was very normal. I didn't really know anything about healing. I mean, I started going to healers myself when I was around the age of 18 because I understood I had some blockages in my system that needed healing and clearing. I couldn't overcome them myself, and I wasn't so much the person who would go to psychotherapy or something like that. So the openness for healing was always there, but I didn't really have an understanding for it. So I went to somebody once a year when I felt, okay, I need to overcome something. But there wasn't really anything I was interested in myself to be a healer. So I went to school, went to university, I studied law and mediation. And then I worked in real estate afterwards. And then after a while, I mean, throughout that whole time, I was always looking for fulfillment and for a life purpose. And I always thought I'm going to find it in a job. So in this specific job where I don't see it as being as a job, it's more like it's my purpose and I just love doing it. And it's not a job from from the morning till the evening and then I go home and do something else. I just wanted to have it like being there all the time and enjoying it. And I thought I'm going to find it in law because, I will also earn a lot of money. So this was just my understanding at that time. Earning money is important, having a good job, blah, blah. Mm-hmm. But it wasn't. I couldn't find it there. Studying law was horrible for me because I wasn't good at studying. And also then later on working in law and then also real estate. It was all right, but it wasn't definitely not what I was really enjoying. And so I was looking for more. I mean, I was already looking in all areas of life, but then I was looking in like personal development books, how can I change my outlook in life, or what do I need to change to have a better life experience? And then I basically found meditation. This is how it all started. I found meditation and I started with guided meditations, just an online program I bought, and I had a really profound experience. I did this meditation program. There were 10 meditations. I did them a few times. And with this one specific meditation, I dropped into a very deep state and everything was gone. So my life story was gone. The identification with all the problems I was having was gone. With the looking for more, for a life purpose and all of that, all was gone. Who Eva was, everything was just gone. So this was just a space of pure silence. There was joy there. There was also nothing there at the same time. It was infinite. It just felt really, really amazing being there. I just felt liberated when I was there. And that was basically the meditation or that experience that started me to become interested in meditation more. Yeah.
What age was that? So at 18, your first experience with a healer, because there was something innate in you, some intuition in you that told you to go to a healing because psychotherapy was not something that interests you. You knew it wouldn't help. When did this meditation come about? When did you have this experience?
Oh, that was a lot later, around 32 or something.
Also,
something
14
like that.
years
Yeah,
later, after
yeah,
law
yeah.
and
A
real
lot
estate and
later.
everything
Yeah.
else. Okay.
Yes. So in the meantime, I studied law and mediation and worked in real estate. Yeah. Mm.
So for those 14 years between 18 and 32, was it just kind of just getting by? Was there an angst inside of you that was driving you to the point of misery? Or was it just like, oh, this is the way life is and you didn't really understand differently?
I mean, life was as it was, and life itself wasn't bad. Just my outlook on life, I never felt fulfilled, and suffering came with that because I was always looking for something more. So I was never happy how life manifested or the opportunities I had. So it was just always something missing. So I had this urge in my system, or this yearning for something more. And I didn't know what it was. And this is what brought up so much suffering. And also while studying law, I just thought I have to have a good education. This is just, I don't know, this is just what I believed at that
Mm-hmm.
time.
Mm-hmm.
But law, you have to study a lot by yourself. Like I locked myself in my apartment sometimes for 1.5, 2 months straight, just studying. So not really social contact or anything,
Okay.
because we had books with thousands of pages. We had to like just learn.
Uh-huh.
And then, have big exams, like major exams. Like there was like 1 or 2 exams in one semester. They were just really major. So it was, I put a lot of work into studying. And I didn't see a plan B. That was also the weird part because I didn't enjoy it. I wasn't good at it. And there was like not even a possibility to do something else. I couldn't see it. There was no possibility for me to do something else. I didn't see anything.
That seems to be a big that seems to be a big deal for quite a few people. Uh, Once it finally gets to the point where they're understanding what's going on, that's their answer. The reason they stick with it is because they don't know what's next. They don't have a plan B. It terrifies them. So I see this a lot. One of the I can't remember the quote. I'll remember it down the line. But between 18 and 32, what did you do to deal with that misery? Was it just a distraction? Was it study more? Was it work harder? Was it just figure out something to consume yourself with so you didn't have to deal with it? Almost kind of like misery would go to the back if you were studying law, if you needed a degree, if you were with friends, et cetera, et cetera.
Hmm. Yeah, I mean, I compensated this stress. So it was just a lot of stress I experienced with sports. So gym, running, CrossFit. Then in the end, so I started. I worked out 7 days. No, seven. I did 7 workouts 6 days a week. So I felt sore for 3 years straight when I did CrossFit like that regularly. So
Mm-hmm.
I was just in pain all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And then also, I don't know, this is just a very big thing in Austria. In university cities, there are a lot of bars and discos and stuff like that. So I went out partying a lot with other fellow students. And this is actually a pattern a lot of students are having. So we studied all week like crazy from the morning till the evening, and then went out on the weekend and just,
Sure.
consumed alcohol to just turn everything off, turn
Yeah.
the emotions off and the mind off. Yeah. So this is
Yeah.
also what I did for a while. Yeah.
Yeah. That seems like it's pretty common.
Mm.
I'm still amazed at how normalized alcohol is, how every commercial is a good time with friends and family, and everyone waking up with a hangover the next day. You're basically sucking your body dry of its water.
Yeah.
Your body's on death's door, and it's just become such a common thing just to take the edge off, to distract ourselves. And I've seen a lot of people let go of the drinking once they understand why they're drinking. It's not to have fun with friends. It's not to enjoy life. It clicks very. It may take 10 years, 20 years, but it clicks, and they understand they're drinking just for the distraction,
Mm.
just for the distraction. So,
Yeah.
so that 14 years, 18 to 32, study, work, party, enjoy stuff. At 32, when you had that experience, did you ever have an experience before that, or did that kind of catch you off guard?
I mean, it caught me off guard. Like I said, the openness was kind of there since I was working with a healer, and then also I was interested in astrology. So every now and then I went to an astrologist, knowing I wanted to know when my life finally gets better, my life
Mm-hmm.
experience. I also
Mm-hmm.
went every now and then. So I guess this openness was always there, but I never had an experience like that because I wasn't meditating before. and that wasn't anything I was interested in. And this guy, actually very interesting, he also has a podcast. He's from Switzerland, and he was more coming from like a entrepreneur and mindset, from this angle. But he had these meditations. They were also about like dropping into a deep layer of yourself where you experience unconditional love and stuff like that. So that was an interesting combination. And I really enjoyed this podcast. And he also had guests, some were scientists, but then there were some who were healers, for example. So he had like both. So that was interesting. And I kind of was open to that then also, because I just listened to different podcasts, also other podcasts as well, where they had healers on, or people who talked about consciousness, but I didn't really have an understanding of it. So, and it wasn't anything I was yearning for or was looking for, like enlightenment or anything like that. I wasn't looking for that. I just had an understanding of what it is.
Just a knowing, right? Just understanding that knowing. It's that deep
Mm-hmm.
knowing that all of us have, but it wasn't yours. The veil between your ignorance and your knowing was just thinner than others. Okay, so at 32, you had that experience. Did that kick things off? Was there a drastic shift in your life, or was it gradual?
So I have a friend, and he was already meditating for years, and he was with Maramira. Have you heard of her before?
I've heard the name, yes.
Yeah, okay. So just for everybody who hasn't maybe heard of her, she's an avatar, and she lives in Germany. She's an Indian woman, and she gives darshan and does meditations on YouTube as well. And he is a big devotee of her. And he was already meditating with her for years, and also went to India with her, and he was sharing about his experience. And then he was like, why don't you meditate with her on YouTube? And also he did know a meditation group. He was like, you can also join that meditation group. They meet twice a week on Zoom, also just online. So just give it a try. And then I just tried it. So I went to this meditation group. I didn't know what it was about. So it was just a silent sitting for an hour. This is at least what I thought it was. This guy was who led the group was transmitting a spiritual energy, but I didn't feel it, and I didn't know at the time that he was. And I don't know, I had time because I took some time off work. So I took some time off, and I thought, okay, I don't know what to do with my life. I'm just going to take some time off, and maybe something else comes in. So this was happening at that time as well. And I had time, so I was able to meditate also twice a week, and that wasn't a problem. And I just joined the group, and then I learned about that there is consciousness, that there are levels of consciousness, that there is enlightenment, and all these things basically started to open up in this group, because there was always like a half an hour discussion beforehand. And so I learned everything just from people asking questions and discussing books or something. And this was that started to make me interested. And after about 3 months, I started feeling that transmission. And this was then when it really started. So I just started energy to come in. So first, not in the whole body, but like in just certain areas of the body. And then after a while, I started to feel it in the whole body, and also started to see light with my eyes closed. And also in the beginning, I had some visions. At that time, I mean, they fell away after a while. But at that time, I had visions coming up during meditation. So it all became really exciting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And this is what kept me going. And then I had like all sorts of spiritual experiences. Over a course of a few years, But every time I meditated, I could feel the energy. I could feel that I dropped into a deeper level of consciousness, or was like in samadhi or something like that. So, and I really enjoyed meditating. I really loved it at the time. Yeah.
For the listeners, since you understand it so well, and I'm sure you'd explain it very simply for them, Darshan, that spiritual energy, what is that? And why is it that someone 10,000 miles away through a screen can feel that?
Mm-hmm. Okay, so first, darshan is a way of transmitting spiritual energy is through the eyes. So just the energy comes in for the person who transmitted, and the person then transmits it through the eyes. So when I look into the screen, for example, I call the energy in, and you would look into my eyes, you could receive it. And it's a very amazing way to receive that light. Or it's one possibility. There are a lot of different ones, but it's one because there is like no barriers. The light goes directly into the soul. and then the soul receives that information. So it's a very amazing way. And this is what Mother Mira is doing. And I was also doing it for a while. But in general, energy transmission works because on the level where this is working, there is no time and space. So on an energetical level, there's no time and space. And when I, for example, bring this energy in and I do a healing, for example, it's created on an energetical level. And when I do it live, you are just tapping into that energetical level by, connecting to me online. And for example, when you watch a YouTube video a few weeks later, or even years later, or a day later, again, it's created on an energetical level, and then you just tap into that what's already there. So it's basically a library or something, if you want to call it like that. You just tap into a library on the energetical level, and then it plays out. So everything I've created is there, and you just tap into it in various different ways, video or audio or whatever.
And that is just simply put, when people talk about the connection, the quantum entanglement, the ability for remote viewers to do what they do. It's just consciousness. It's all connected, and you have the ability, others have the ability to transmit that energy. And whether the person understands it or knows it or feels it, it's still working, correct?
It's always working, yes.
Okay. Mm-hmm. It's always working. Yeah. Now, for the people who can't feel it, does that just simply mean that the veil, their level of consciousness, is just a little bit thicker, and that energy getting through, they can't feel it because there's a lot more mud to go through, in a sense?
Yeah, I mean, on the one hand, yes, I just call it piled up human stuff. So everything will pile up throughout our lifetime. And also it has to do with the nervous system. So the refinement of the nervous system, when the nervous system is more refined, and this happens by connecting to that energy over and over again, over a certain amount of time, most people start feeling the energy. But there are some people who don't feel it. And that's, I mean, it's still working, but usually those people are not so much drawn to my work. They're more like, they prefer an intellectual approach.
Okay.
And my approach is it's experiential mostly. I mean, I have a teaching as well, but it's mostly experiential. So I would say most people who enjoy my work, they feel it, or they start feeling it over a certain amount of time, just because the nervous system gets more refined, and then they're able to perceive it, but also in various different ways. Some people, they see it with their eyes closed, they see the light. Some people, they feel it as, like, for example, temperature, warmth in their body, or as tingling. I feel it, for example, as like champagne puddles in every cell of my body. It's just bubbling. This is how I perceive it, and also I perceive it in the area around me as well. But everybody is really different. So every system perceives it in a different way. But it's definitely something people can are able to feel or experience over a certain amount of time when they connect regularly to the transmission. It's hardly that it's like not so common that people like don't feel anything and have connected like for a few weeks or years, even years. It's hardly ever happened. They start feeling it over a few weeks or months.
Okay, so already. let's talk a little bit more about that, and just me selfishly, because I've had a great teacher. I have had a very high level teacher, and I have been meditating for many years, going past the mind, transcending, tapping into the absolute. I have never, and this is kind of what you talked about just a couple minutes ago, that I have an intellectual understanding. So I have the ability to explain to people, to get them to understand a very complex technique or a complex topic very simply. I have yet to experience anything visual or hear anything or feel anything. And our mutual friend, Patrick, there was a time that he does the Shaktipat, he does the Darshan, he does the spiritual transmission. He's still doing it for a few friends right now. And I would do it once a week, and I would never feel it. And then I was like, you know what, let's just try this. I know I can handle it. Let's do 2 a week. And I'd never feel it. There was one time, and it was probably unsafe, but he went along with it. I think we did 7 days straight, 7 to 10 days straight, 45 minutes to an hour, where I just sat there and he did his thing. and I never once felt it. So you having the abilities you have, is that just my karma in this existence? Is my veil thick? Is there something about, because I thought my nervous system was quite pure and strong because of all the meditating I did. So I was, I was expecting something, but I've never once felt it. Never once.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I mean, I would like to invite you to one of my group healing sessions. I have small group healing sessions, and yeah, maybe you want to come, and then we'll see what's going to happen. I do intense opening of the energy field and expanding of the energy field. And what Patrick is doing, he works with it, he calls it the light transmission, or it's called the light transmission, and it really helps only to raise your level of consciousness.
Okay.
So it doesn't really help to clear the system.
Okay.
And to me, the system is the body and the energy bodies, and the nervous system is part of the body and the energy bodies, and it influences those. So on a level of consciousness, you can realize high levels, and you would experience them, but mostly you experience it from there. Right,
mm-hmm.
from that layer, from that area. And when also the body follows that, so I guess you would also say the embodiment of the enlightenment, you would perceive it from everywhere, from your whole system. This is the difference. And what I do is I clear the system. So like I said, all the piled up human stuff. So this would be anything. So all the energies that are still stuck in our system from our lifetime that haven't passed through. So usually, when so I'm always coming from the present moment. You are in the present moment, you're having an experience with an emotion. Okay. Let's say you're angry, you have a lot of joy, you're happy, whatever. So in the present moment, you experience that fully. And when the experience is over, that emotion, which is just an energy, would leave the system and doesn't stay. This is how an optimum system works. And this is what I'm helping people with to optimize the system. And before, it just gets stuck. So usually around an age from like 3 years old, we start not processing energies fully through our system anymore, because we're not allowed to, we're not allowed to be loud when we're in public. Our parents say we should like be silent, or what I mean, like in a restaurant, or we're not allowed to fully live our emotions or experience them. Then they start getting stuck. So we have a whole lifetime then of stuck energies in our system, low vibrational ones and high vibrational ones.
Mm-hmm.
And those are also the energies that are getting triggered. So, for example, this is why we hardly ever live in the present moment, or we don't have an experience of it. Because we are in the present moment, we have an experience, and an emotion gets triggered from the past. Like, could be like from a year ago, 2 years ago, 5 years ago. And this emotion comes into the present moment. I mean, this emotion is in the present moment here in our system anyways, but just for understanding reasons, we have an experience of a past and the future, but it doesn't exist. Okay. So we only have the experience of it because, for example, let's go with an example. 2 weeks ago, you had an experience. You were really angry because somebody ate your lunch and you were really hungry. Let's go with that. And then, today you buy your lunch, and then you're like, okay, I'm gonna put it in my own fridge or whatever, so that nobody else can get it, so that my work colleagues can't get it. So I could put it in a separate space. And then when you think about, because I don't want that anyone eats my lunch, and then when you think about how somebody ate your lunch, like the anger comes up. This is why you have a solution. Okay, I'm not going to do that anymore. So it's something that happened 2 weeks ago, but the energy is stuck now in the system, the anger. And this actually creates a past. And I clear the anger out of the system. The story, it's just a story. So everybody's system is exactly the same, just the story is different. So we have the emotions. I clear the anger. And then when you think back 2 weeks ago, there is no emotional charge. And there about like this story, there's no emotional charge. So you can only intellectually think back, but from the present moment. So that's nothing that's grabbing you and taking you away from where you are right now.
Okay.
Yeah. And the same is with the future. I'm never going to buy lunch again and then put it in the public fridge, not in my personal one, whatever, in your workspace, because somebody else might eat it, So you already project the past experience into the future, and you create a future in the present moment, but it also doesn't exist. And I clear that just by clearing those energies. First of all, the system, we raise our vibration because the low vibrational energies, we're getting rid of those. Then there is more space, so decision space, because we are only here in the present moment and we can decide whatever we want here and right now from the intuition. So we have access more to our intuition when the system gets clearer. And okay, where now I lost where I wanted to go. This often happens because there is so much information present and I just need to share it. And it's like, okay, we bring this in the present moment. Okay, I actually lost. I lost just where I wanted to go with this. Give me a second. It will come back.
Take your time. Yeah.
Yeah.
Take your time.
Okay. Oh yeah. We have more decision space because we're not influenced by triggers, so old emotions that are coming up in the present moment, and also what falls away, for example, or what I'm clearing is patterns, just patterns we inherited from our parents, from other adults around us, from society. So they are started to fall away. So there is just more space for making decisions. So how I often describe it is like a pattern is like a train. So we hop on the train, the trigger turns on, we hop on the train and we need to go where the train goes because there's no other option. We just go that one direction. Okay. And when the system is clearer and the triggers are gone, we have a car and we can go wherever we want in the present moment. So we always have a fresh possibility to decide what's for our highest good in the present moment.
Okay.
And also, the more the system is healed and cleared, and expanded and opened up, the more light can enter the system. So I'm working with high vibrational divine light, and that light is transforming the system on a cellular level towards our personal highest truth. So it pulls us towards our personal highest truth. And then also more light is in our system. It helps to raise our vibration and to transform our system that we eventually experience our true nature. And when I talk about the true nature, it's the Brahman, what I'm referring to, plus the human experiences coming back in. I don't know. Do you know what I mean with Brahman? It's not a common word,
yes.
Or not everybody's using that.
Okay. Maharishi talked about that quite a bit.
Oh yeah, okay. Yeah, right. So Brahman, but the Brahman is emptiness, right? And then there is the Para Brahman, when human aspects are already back in, they're coming back in. So the human experience comes back in, just different. This is what I refer to the true nature. Yeah.
Okay, and just I should have warned you at the beginning. When you see my eyes go off or my hands go up, I'm processing questions because you're saying so much that I want to make sure that I don't miss them.
Yeah.
Right. Because I really enjoy it and I don't want to cut you off because this is like interviewing. This is our mutual friend David Buckland. You guys are an encyclopedia of this knowledge, and it's so pure, it's so clear, it's such a direct experience for both of you that I'm sure quite a few people listening haven't a clue, but we both know that when it comes to that, the seed is planted, and when they clear up their human stuff, it'll sprout, because all of that knowledge you're talking about, it all comes from the same source, and we just need to clear stuff up to tap into it. So yes, I would love to. Is the group healing the Thursdays?
It's a meditation. On Thursdays is a group meditation. Yes.
Okay.
So so what my work is doing, I can basically bring you into certain spiritual experiences so that your system gets an understanding of it. For example, I can bring you into unity consciousness. I can bring you into samadhi. I can help you to heal and clear certain areas, and that you, like, for example, I was talking about the past and future. There was a meditation I did. I just collapsed past and future, brought in the present moment. And then I asked people, okay, and try to tap now into your past and your future. And it doesn't work anymore. So that they get an understanding how it can be. And also by doing that, these mechanisms start breaking down as well. And my work is not really going like from one level to of consciousness to the other, which my path was. It's a direct way. So it's like, it's opening up possibilities for the true nature to shine through more and more. So it's coming more from the embodiment. level. And people are getting an experience of that, what the true nature is already. It doesn't really matter where they are on their journey. So you don't have to like realize the Brahman to then get those aspects of the Brahman in your experience. You can have them beforehand coming in, slowly coming in. And that means that life experience gets better. So it's looking after the human more, because raising your level of consciousness doesn't really mean that the human needs to follow. Yes, but I'm helping the human to follow, because it's not always easy that the human aspect follows that, right?
No.
And I help the human aspect to follow that already as well. So it's both.
So that was my next question. Is it if anyone comes to your group healings, it does not matter where their level of consciousness is. It doesn't matter where they're on the path. It could be the first time they're ever doing something like this. Your abilities would help them in some way.
Yes, definitely. So everybody's welcome to join. So you just mentioned the Thursday meditation. It's a free meditation, and everybody's very welcome to join. It's on Thursday at 9:00 Central European Time. And it's usually like a half an hour where people are asking questions, or we just have a conversation, and then we do a 15-minute guided meditations. And there, usually, I do also some healing and clearing, but guide in like I never know what's going to happen. So what I do is I call in the transmission, and I can read the information in the transmission, and it wants me to do certain things. So I'm assisting and I'm sharing what it wants me to share. And so I really never know what's happening. So I sit down, I call in the energy, and then it comes in, and then I'm curious what's going to happen. So this is how it works.
Two things. Don't let me forget the group. First, 9:00 European time. That is Austria time. So for the people watching, this is Utah. Utah is 8 hours behind on that. So if it's 9 p.m. her time, it's 1 p.m. Utah time, 12 p.m.
So are you
West
on Mountain
Coast.
Time?
Yes, Mountain time.
Okay,
so
yeah.
We'd be 8 hours
Exactly.
behind you. So East Coast would be 6 hours, Central 7 hours. We're 8, and then anyone listening on the West Coast, it's 9 hours behind, and that's Thursday at 9 p.m. Central European time. Secondly, when you do the group meditations on Thursday and you call in the energy and you start to feel it, is that energy basically tapping into all the people? Because I've been on a few of those. There's anywhere from 150 to 300 people. Is the energy basically tapping into the collective of those people watching you, saying this is the most important thing that we need to work on right now?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And this is the same with the groups, and why this works so well. So first of all, everybody's energy field is the same. And second, because I work on the emotional level, so this is like the ground level, everybody has different stories and different ways of living their lives. But on the emotional level, we are all the same. So this is why this works so well. And also the energy bodies and like how our energy system is the same for everybody. So this is why group work works really, really well. And it's stronger when more people are like especially the meditation. I love it so much because there are so many people who have done a lot of work already, who have been working or coming to these meditations for a long time. And they have a very clear system and expanded system. So they're also able to hold a lot more light. And this is why this is a very strong experience. So there's a lot of light present, because a lot of those people can carry, or their systems can hold a lot of light. Yeah.
Okay. So it's kind of like a compounding effect.
Yeah, and the energy is like the infinite, and then it's like how much can our system hold? It's a tiny little part, and and the more people we are and can hold a little bit more, then it just gets bigger and stronger, and more can happen. So yeah, it's really, really cool.
Okay, so I've sent quite a few people to Patrick, and you were talking earlier about 10 minutes ago about the difference between what he's doing and what you're doing. For people like myself and the people I've sent him, they have watched their level of consciousness raise up. What would you suggest for the people who are they're still feeling that stuckness in a sense, right? They've got an intellectual better understanding, but they're still feeling those same type of emotions, that same past and future that you're talking about. Is it just simply working with you, doing the energy healings rather than level of consciousness, just to kind of combine the two?
Yeah, I mean, it's really what people feel drawn to do, but I mean, combining both are perfect. It really depends on if some people, if it's important for them to know, like there's these measurements of the level of consciousness, where they're at, and then eventually reaching unity consciousness. That's totally fine. I work also with a lot of people who have an understanding of those levels and where they are on those levels. But often, for example, when you reach unity consciousness, and this was in my case, I had the experience of unity, but it closed down again because, there is a mechanism in place that can push down all the emotional stuff we don't want to feel. So basically the ego, but there is also this mechanism. I don't want to feel this. I don't want to have anything to do with this. I push it down, And when I had the experience of unity consciousness, or when this the shift happened, this mechanism broke down. My who I thought I was, so the identification, I saw it in the middle of my chest as an energy ball, was ripped out of my chest, and the ego stepped into the background because it wasn't fed with any energy anymore. Before, like, we identify, so it gets fed with energy. So this is how I see it on an intellectual level, on the energetical level. And this is why it's in the forefront and why we identify. And with the unity, it doesn't get that energy anymore. And then it has to go into the background, like can't stay in the forefront. And then all emotions, or not all, a lot of emotions I haven't worked on, just they basically blew up. So I felt terrible for about 2 months. There was just emotion, like I just felt so much fear, so much anxiety, depression, like all sorts of low vibration energies come up. So I didn't have an experience of unity at all. Then I started working with a healer myself. And then I realized, okay, after every session, I had more of a experience of unity. But then it closed down again because some emotional stuff came up. Then I did it's called transcendence technique. It's a visualization and breath work technique that brings up some skaras. So that brings up the stuck, I just call them the stuck energies into experience, and then they leave the system. So I did this for 6 months, and I basically went through, a very low vibrational time at that time, because there was like those energies coming up all the time. I mean, it was very intense for 2 months. The rest of the time wasn't so intense. And then the experience of unity was very stable and just more refined. And before it wasn't, just because of the human stuff. And with my work, what I'm doing is I clear out the like I said, these energies, so that you also have a better and more stable experience of your level of consciousness, if this is something you prefer to work on. If you say, okay, I don't really care about the levels of consciousness, I just want to go direct. I mean, this is also what I'm doing. I just go direct to the Brahman, to the true nature. I bring in this aspect, so I don't measure that. It's more about you see it yourself in your experience, how life is unfolding. For me, it's always about how is your life unfolding? What's the betterment? What is falling away? Do you experience your life like more joyous? Because I think that's very important. Not just the suffering, It's like we want the joy as well. And the true nature has the joy of existence in it, and the unconditional love in it, and this can come through more. So it's just two different ways to the same thing. Although I think my way is just, it has the two in one, and it's more direct than the way I went, my path. This is how I see it. And by walking that path, it's unfolding. You can already feel the change quite soon, like after doing this more regularly for a few weeks. Like, it always depends on how open people are and how much work they have done already. Some people come and they feel like after one session, like they're blown away already. Some people, it takes a little bit of time until their system gets opened up more, because they're very tight. Because just because you raise your level of consciousness, it doesn't mean that you have an open system. Because it's the top chakras. Yeah, it's mostly like crown chakra, third eye chakra, and there is like often no heart chakra. There is no heart chakra involved, and also lower chakras not involved. So it's mostly the higher chakras.
That's my direct experience. I kind of like what you were talking about, you in and out. So there's extreme highs and then there's extreme lows. And my heart has been the central focus on anyone I've worked with, my teacher, Patrick healers, my heart has been closed. It feels like it's been shifting in the past year quite a bit, all my other chakras. But yeah, there's quite a few people that egoically went after the higher levels of consciousness with the number and watching it raise and going to different levels and still feeling the human stuff. And that was incredibly disheartening and frustrating for me and for quite a few people. So this is great to know, because quite a few people that went through this experience with me will be listening to this. So this is great, because this will give them something to better understand why, because you read books about going to 1,000 or read books about Brahman consciousness, and they talk about peace and bliss. And there's some experiences of that, but it's fleeting. And the humanness comes back in, and you're always wondering when that humanness is going to subside, in a sense, understanding that we are human, we have the physical form, it'll never fully go away, but still
it becomes different, though. It becomes very different. So when the human is healed and cleared from low and high vibrational energies, so first we clear the low vibrational energies and then the high vibrational as well, because we don't need any, because they're all not of the highest truth. The highest truth is only what we experience in the present moment. And so emotions, yes, we still experience emotions in the present moment, but then they're not stuck. They leave the system.
Okay.
And when we clear low and high vibrational emotions out of our system, we won't experience fear or anger or depression or those low vibrational energies. Like, it's not a possibility to experience them anymore. It's more like the lowest vibrations would be probably annoyance or, disappointment or something like that. Just, you don't drop that low anymore. And also the true nature is, when the true nature is the main experience. So this would be the silence, the true nature. There are a lot of aspects that are in the true nature. So the true nature is silent, is infinite, is empty, is clarity, is unconditional love, is the joy of existence. So there are a lot of aspects in the true nature. But it's always clarity and silence. And when the human experience is there, which is there all the time, it's happening in that. So the silence is the main experience, and then the human experience, so it doesn't really matter what kind of emotions in the present moment, is happening in that. So the silence is never ever distracted, or it can never go away ever. Yeah. Okay. And this changes. So before, it's basically the other way around. You can get veiled. So you're fully veiled, even though you're in unity consciousness. So when I talk about unity consciousness, it's LOC 1000. So even though you experience you're one with everything, when the human stuff is coming up, the emotions, you are veiled and you are caught in the emotion. And it's very likely that you're also going to be caught in a story, because the mind starts, creating a story. So, there's this loop until we can let go of it, because we somehow get out of it. And then in Brahman, so there's first Brahman, this is the total emptiness. There is no emotions. It's the full detachment of the human and human experience. It's outside of creation. And then when the human aspects are starting to come back in, so this is when it starts, that this silence is the main experience, but the human experience is happening in the silence. And there's nothing that is like that doesn't want to experience the human anymore. So it's a full acceptance of the human experience and embracing of the human experience. This is, and then further on, like this, the divine part of us and the human kind of merges. And then there is just a very raw human experience where you can't go anywhere anymore. There is, the interest in meditation falls away and stuff, because it doesn't really do anything to your consciousness anymore and stuff like that. So this is later. But yeah, so I really recommend, if people are interested, come to my group meditation, because this is for free. Also do YouTube videos, because there are many YouTube videos that create different experiences, or there are will do certain healings for your system, and just see what happens and how you feel about it. And there's also something I want to share, because that's really cool. It's like my recent, or my newest project. So the energy transmission I work with comes from beyond creation, and it basically, when I stepped outside into Brahman, I brought it back into creation. This is just how I experienced it, and it's the transmission of the highest truth. And it pulls you towards your individual highest truth. So everybody has their individual highest truth. There is this one, but it's like so infinite that, not one person could perceive it, but we have our individual highest truth. We incarnate, we have a certain life lesson, like certain lessons, certain experiences we want to have, and so on. So everybody has the individual. I found a way how I can connect people to the transmission directly, so that I don't need to be the channel anymore. So I could connect you directly, and this transmission follows you around 24/7. So when you said you did 7 sessions with Patrick, 7 days a week, you can have, it's amazing, because he did this work, actively on you, but it's totally safe. Like, you can be in a transmission 24/7, no problem at all. And it's just working in the system constantly.
How
like
the
doing
hell?
that all the time.
Okay, all right. So you got me. My excitement just peaked there. How the hell do you do that? What's going on there, and how do people get involved with that? Because that seems like I want to shut down this podcast right now and start immediately.
Yeah, you can, when you are connected, you can totally do your everyday life thing, like it's, so first, in your case, because you said you don't feel energies that much, or you don't feel them, it wouldn't do anything, like it wouldn't interfere with your day at all. For some people who are very sensitive, often for the first few days or week, it can be really strong. So it could be like a bit too much. This is why, first I have a website. And you can get it on the website. So I just programmed the energy. When you basically click the button to get it, it comes in. And there is a button. Yeah, I know it sounds a bit out there, but it's totally easy. It's like,
no, it makes sense.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. Okay. And I have implemented a button. It's like 100% and 50% and off. So for people who, feel it coming in too strongly, they can only turn it down to 50% or also turn it off. For sleep, for example, because there are some people who can't sleep. It's like, oh my God, there's so much energy, I can't sleep. But and then after a certain time, and this is when the nervous system starts to just refine and to get more used to that transmission, it basically steps more into the background. So it's always there in your experience. Again, it depends on people's perception. But if people feeling that transmission, it's like more in the background. They can do whatever they want during the day. It's just there. And then when they sit and meditate with it, it comes into the forefront and it does the work. And because it was just on Saturday, I've been doing this now, or this website came online like a half a year ago. And so we have like, it's a subscription service because you're just on it like all the time. And then I was like, okay, what can we do that people can receive more? Because that light is coming in, it's always there, but like, what can we do that people receive more? And then I got the information, okay, I can do system upgrades. So I started to do once a month, a live Zoom call where I do system upgrades for subscribers so that they can receive more of that light, and the transformation can even happen faster. Yeah. So wow. Pretty cool.
What's the website?
It's called nextelevations.com. There are a lot of explanation videos. Okay. And there is a 2-week free trial, and people can connect. And in the members area, there are a lot of meditations and stuff like that as well. So you get a lot of content. And really, what it does. So first, the transmission comes in. It meets you where you are. So when you are pretty cleared already, it's starting to pull you towards your personal highest truth. That means life is being experienced more just as a flow, as an unfolding in the present moment. So all these aspects, what I was talking about, the true nature they're coming online more and more. So the present moment comes in online more and more. And then whatever is perfect for you in the present moment comes in. So the right, person you need to meet, the right opportunity, the right book if you're on a spiritual path, the right meditation. So it's just the life gets orchestrated in a better way for you, so in a more truthful way. So everything you need to be pulled towards your personal highest truth comes in. And life experience gets better first, and second, also your system is awakening. So it's both. Because and I love that it's both, because so I meditated with Mara Mira also throughout my awakening process. And her approach is really has a lot to do with the human, so looking after the human aspect as well. And this is what I really enjoyed. So I had, on the one hand, the person from the group I was meditating, it was just consciousness. And then Madame Mira was like working on the human aspect. So, and now my work is both combined. And this is just I'm so happy, because I also like to have a nice human life experience, and awakening is not always easy. And then, so when people are, for example, they haven't done a lot of work yet, and there's still a lot of stuff in their system, it's possible that in the first few days, for example, they experience a massive clearing and healing, but at the same time, the transmission is meeting those energies from top and pulling them out of your system. So when low vibrational stuff is coming up, the transmission is just removing that for people, so they're not stuck in those for a very long time, just short time. And also, when you are on your path, every now and then there is just some healing and clearing coming up. So first it's low vibrational energies, then high vibrational energies. And then what I'm mainly experiencing right now, I mean, it's an ongoing process. It's just understanding of things, how they are falling away. So there is like no emotional or anything attachment. It's just structures, of truth. What I thought truth is are falling away. This is what I experience right now, for example. So that the healing and clearing of the low vibrational stuff and high vibrational stuff is done in my system, or, there are always little bits and pieces. So like, but the main stuff, that the crazy stuff is gone. And now this is what I experience. Yeah.
Nextelevations.com.
Yeah.
This sounds incredible. So this is, they're going to go to that website and they can just, in a sense, click a button, turn that on. It'll follow you around 24 hours a day. If you're sensitive, drop it down to 50%. If you got someone like me, is there a like 200-300% that I could click on too, just to kind of?
Yeah, no, it's not because the transmission is refining your nervous system anyway. So just see what happens. And then also what I have implemented is, I call them frequency enhancers. So the transmission contains everything. But if you feel like, from your human aspect, okay, I need help in certain areas, I have these frequency enhancers people can get. So there is, for example, one for unity consciousness. So when this is a goal for you, get this enhancer, and then it just helps you to reach unity consciousness a lot quicker. Then also have just implemented like an identity dissolver, because, the identity just sits in the heart chakra. This is where I see it. This is where the identification is. And I can just, there's even a YouTube video online if people are interested to have an experience of not being identified, or the identity falls away. You can do that YouTube video. It's just an energy in the heart chakra starts falling away with that identity dissolver. Then there is like for health, because I also work with a lot of people who have health issues. But health to me, I mean, from where I'm working from, so everything is there on an energetical level first, and then it manifests on the physical. And health issues is also just energies on the energetical level first. So it's going to help to clear the energetics so that the body can start healing again. And interesting, we have actually very good results with people who have health issues. So issues are falling away, or there is a fast betterment. And then there's one for inner peace, for example, or abundance. And abundance is, for example, a part of the true nature. It's just something that's there. Like when it's there for you, it's there. And before it's an absence and a lack. And then you want to compensate it in this 3D reality with working hard, earning a lot of money, blah, blah. Mm-hmm. But then eventually when these structures or these dark energies are cleared and you have access to that part of your system, abundance is just there, for example, because it's always there. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And there is a lot more, but yeah. Yeah.
So for someone like me, that sounds amazing. Okay, so as soon as we're done here, I'm going to jump over to that and check that out. Because again, I've worked with Patrick quite a bit and other healers quite a bit, and there's still like when you say the peace never leaves. When you talk about that, I feel like I'm on the polar opposite of that. Like I'll have a good day, or something good will happen, or I'll have a good podcast, or the boys are having a soccer game, or the fiance and I are having a good day, or whatever it is. But there's, instead of that peace in the background, there's a anxiety, just a low level anxiety that almost engulfs everything. If the distraction's good enough, it goes to the background. But I've wanted nothing more than to have that inner peace in the background at all times. Because when that's there, and I've experienced it quite a few times, I'm just a better person. I'm kinder. I'm more patient. I'm better to other humans. I'm more clear with what I need to do throughout the day, whatever I'm working on, with whatever whoever I'm working with. It's just better. It's just better. But when it's always there, and it's been there for years, even after all the work I've done, it's frustrating. It's annoying.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I'm very glad that we talk. I would love you to come to my group healing sessions, and also try Next Elevations. And if you're on that, for I would recommend always like a few weeks or months, just give it a try. Like really do something every day, and you will see a really fast betterment of experience. And also those low vibrational energies will fall away, and the anxiety will fall away.
Well, let me clarify. When you say do something every day, don't I just need to go about my life and then turn that button on, in a sense, or is there something I need to do where I spend 20 minutes a day really focusing on it?
Yeah, no, I mean, when you are on Next Elevations, and you don't do any other spiritual practice, it's enough. But I would, because in your case, because you said you had this anxiety, you could like do the YouTube videos that just help to clear certain emotions out of the system, or do the group healings or something like that. Then it's just a lot faster. When there is still, just because you shared, you still have a lot of those low vibration energies, to clear them would be like amazing in a faster way, and then you can do it in that way. But I mean, Next Elevations is doing that by itself as well. So it's not necessary. It just happens even faster when we do a little bit in addition.
Would the meditation I do help, where I'm going past the mind? Like I do a meditation where I sit and I will 45 minutes to an hour will just, it's like I open my eyes and close my eyes, and 45 minutes to an hour goes by.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, it would help, because when you are on Next Elevations, that transmission can just come in and work in your system. So it would totally help.
Okay.
I would also recommend just checking out my YouTube videos, because what I also help is because you said you're not feeling energies yet, and you feel like your lower chakras are not open yet. So I help to open up and expand the system. Again, Next Elevation is doing this anyways, but I'm also doing that. And then when you have an open system and the light comes in, it can just come in, versus when you just do a meditation where you focus on something, it's like you focus somewhere with your mind, but there's nothing helping to open up your system, for example. Yeah.
Okay.
And, the more, so I will do a short, so we decided, right, to do a short meditation.
Yes.
So I will do that. And then I will also explain why I do certain things and why I see them being necessary or more helpful when you are able to meditate with a meditation like that versus just sitting. But sitting with Next Elevations is really amazing, because the transmission comes in and works on the system on a cellular level towards your personal highest truth. But like I said, it meets you where you are. And when you're still kind of closed, it's better to do a little bit additional work so that the system is open, because then you can just receive more. That's the difference. Yeah.
Okay. So over the last hour, which again, these things fly by, I've written down some other questions, but it doesn't seem like they're relevant now, because what you're talking about is a clearing away of a lot of this, where I guess my question would be, my questions were about the 3-year-old self, right? Where we start to learn, we start to listen to our parents, our teachers, right? NASA did a study where they followed thousands of kids. 98% were considered genius at 5, 30% at 10, 12% at 15. And by the time the kids were adults, it was only 2%, right? So we kind of learn ourselves into ignorance, but you've covered a lot of that. The random emotions, you've covered a lot of that. Astrology, because you talked about that earlier on in the podcast. That seems to be quite powerful for a lot of people, just the linings of the planets. Do you see astrology in the same way that you saw it in the past with what you're doing now? Is it good to understand what's going on in the universe with planets and alignment? Because it seems like there's quite a bit going on right now with the shift of consciousness on this planet.
Mm. I'm sure it has an influence, but it's nothing specifically I'm looking into with my work.
Okay.
And I stopped going to astrologists. I used to because I was just curious, but I learned, I mean, this is just how it is. Everybody's interpreting the stars and everything from their understanding and from their life experience and all of that. So it was very personalized also to those people and not so much to me. Or I mean, I had really good ones. They try to be really neutral, but can you ever be really neutral? You only can come from
Yes.
your experience, right?
Yes.
And so I kind of stopped because I also feel that manifestation of life, the clearer your system is, the more you can actually influence your own life experience, the more free will you have. Because before, the free will is kind of, when you're triggered by an energy, you're triggered. You can have much as free will. Yeah, you can have as much free will as you want. When you're angry, you're angry, and then you see life through that lens, and then you will act on that. So it's kind of course, we have a free will, but. And this is what I said before, when there is more clarity in your system, because it's just more emptied out, then you have more decision space. And then you can actually decide. And then you can decide also, you can influence your own manifestation. And I'm sure planets and all of that, they're influencing, but it's not something I really look into. I don't really know, to be honest. But I see it on YouTube and stuff that apparently a lot is going to happen over the next years. I'm curious. It's just curiosity, but that's really it.
Yeah, it's been interesting to look into that more. Just when there's certain planets aligning, and that is something I can feel, is the intensity of that day or the intensity of that week. Why I'm on edge a little bit more. So that's been interesting. That makes perfect sense. The free will is always a curious one. That's something that has intellectually made sense to me, where yes, we do have free will, but just like that NASA study, it's incredibly conditioned. So how we react when we're angry is different than how we react when we're happy. If we're Republican, we're going to react to a Democrat differently. If we're Catholic, we're going to react to an atheist differently. All of those conditions, all of those constructs really limit our free will and how we react. They're just so conditioned. Past lives. I assume a lot of past lives and karma is brought through to the system in this incarnation, and there's a lot of clearing out of that, or is that just another construct that as soon as you let that go, that kind of just dissipates as well?
So how I see this is that we have past life influences. I see it also on the emotional level. So when we don't have any resonance of those past lives in our system anymore, so that the emotions, they can't influence. So for example, often when I clear anger out of the system and then I see, okay, past lives are influencing, then I see what's influencing and why they are influencing. So I see the story. And when I clear this anger, for example, it can't influence anymore. So yes, there are influences just because we have the receptivity in our system, but this is like the same with everything. When we have anger still in our system and somebody is in the opposite of us and is angry, we can pick that up in the way of we find resonance to that energy. But if you don't carry any anger in your system anymore, you just see that person is angry and that's it. Like you can't feel it. You can't feel it anymore. And this is what's happening when you empty out your system. Everything is the same. Like you can't feel differences anymore. This falls away, for example. You have your own emotions, you feel those in the present moment, but you can't feel other people's emotions anymore. They're not influencing with yours because you don't have any resonance.
Well, that was probably the most interesting you said a little while ago, was that most people think that the spiritual path or your work would be about clearing out the lower frequencies, but you talked about clearing them both out. So there is no up and down because you get to the point where it's just peace. And you'll still experience the up and downs, but they won't be as sticky. So most people would look at that and say, okay, let's clear out all the negative. Everyone thinks you're just going to clear out all the bad, and then the positive's just going to come rushing in. But you spoke of clearing out both the ups and the downs.
Yeah, because that's a slight difference. We want the high vibrational energies to come in, yes, but we want to clear out the stuck high vibrational energies. For example, you had an amazing experience 2 weeks ago and you loved it, and you think back to that experience, and you trigger up those emotions, like you were, had dinner with friends, it was a lot of fun. And so you can tap into that. And it's also from the past. You experience it in the present moment. So you pull in the past into the present moment, like I said before. And it's also not the highest truth, because it's just a stuck energy.
Okay.
So, of course, when you clear the low vibrational energies, life experience gets already a lot better. That's amazing. But also the high vibrational energies are just past emotions stuck. So we want to clear them, that we have an experience in the present moment, whatever that experience is, and it's fresh, it's new. We experience it, and then it leaves the system. Then the next one comes in, and so on. So it's like not old stuff anymore. It's always just stuff that's there, because we have a body, so we have emotions. And when we experience times on the spiritual path where we don't experience emotions, this totally happens. It just means we can't tap into them anymore, or we transcend, out of the body for a while. This is very possible. So we don't have any emotions, but then eventually it comes back, and we have to feel them. Like there is no escaping anymore. There were certain times where I was able to escape my emotions on the spiritual path, but this doesn't work, for example, anymore. Or escape the body. You go with your consciousness out of your body. For example, pain is a good one. So when I was at the dentist, I was able to, I knew, okay, it's going to hurt. Then I was able to go with my consciousness out of my body. And then the pain didn't really feel that bad, or it was just very small amount of pain. And yeah, this is the downside, because now it doesn't work anymore. And now I can't go outside. Have to feel the pain. This is just how it is.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is there anything else? I've kept you for an hour and 5 minutes. I know we want to do the meditation at the end. Is there anything else that is coming through you right now that you would like to share?
Mm-hmm. I think we've covered a lot, because there's so much information in this podcast. I think let's leave it there and go straight into the experience.
Okay.
Because this is what my work is all about. It's all about the experience, and I talk about what to experience, and I talk about all the concepts and everything. But it all happens beyond the mind. My work happens beyond the mind. So yeah, let's just go right into it, I would say. Yeah.
Okay. And this is
All right.
this is like the group meditations on Thursday, correct?
Yes, this is like the group meditation on Thursday, and the difference is to the small group healing sessions. So there is intense healing and clearing being done in those sessions. They're like on once a week. But the free meditation is really more a meditation where I do some healing and clearing, and then I pull people into, I don't know, like different layers of consciousness, or sometimes in the experience of unity, collapse, past and future, whatever is coming up. And they're they're also on my YouTube channel. I always upload them after the Thursday meditation. So if anybody's interested. Okay, so I'm just going to remove my head. Yeah, I can hear you now. I just use my hands, but I will be careful that I don't pull out my headphones. I use my hands for the healing, and it's really energetically working on an energetical level. It's all with intention. It happens with intention, but it's also possible to use hands, and this is then the intention. Then I don't have to concentrate on things. So I like to work with hands.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
I'm going to put myself on mute.
Okay. And I would recommend you and everybody who's listening, just sit back, relax, and close your eyes, meditate along. You don't need to do anything else. If you are doing something like driving or something like that, just continue on driving. Don't close your eyes, but you can totally receive that. So there is no problem there. Okay, so it takes about 30 seconds to tune in, and then I start sharing. Okay. I start with opening up the energy field. And I bring in light. Then I expand the energy field. Expanding the energy field helps to hold more light in the system, and also more awareness comes with that as well. So I'm expanding. And the energy field can always be more expanded, so we can always hold more light. And light is higher information. So that information can then come into our system, into every cell of our body, and change the information on a cellular level. Okay, I'm still expanding. Then I fill up the expanded space with light. Then I clear surface energies. So surface energies are all sorts of energies you've been exposed to over the past 1 or 2 days, and also emotions that are currently floating around the top of your system. So emotions that have been triggered up, or emotions that haven't fully passed through your system yet. So I'm clearing those surface energies, because those are the energies that create the noise. So behind the noise is the silence. And those energies are creating the noise, and we don't need them at the moment. Also, they're just in a way of more light entering the system, so that more light can enter the system. And right away, when I clear them, more light is coming in. So clear more surface energies. And this also helps then the body to relax more in the energy bodies. And then again, more light can enter. Then I open up the chakras. So crown chakra, third eye chakra, throat chakra, heart chakra, solar plexus, sacral chakra, and root chakra. And I pull in the light specifically also into the lower chakras. So crown chakra, third eye chakra, throat chakra, down, heart, solar plexus, second and first chakra. I anchor it there. And then I expand and open up the central energy channel. So the central energy channel is where life energy flows through our system. Life energy is life itself. So how it works is that life energy flows through our system, and then we experience it with all our senses, emotions, thoughts, and so on. And then it reflects into our own consciousness. So this is why life experience is very individual. First of all, it depends on the amount of life energy that's flowing, and then also how we perceive it, how we receive this energy. So depending on how many stuck energies we still have in our system, which vibration we are experiencing at that moment, and also which level of consciousness we are in. So this is how we perceive it, because life itself is always neutral. So we give it through the emotions of a form or an experience, a direct experience, and then it's also reflected into our own consciousness on the outside. And this is the manifestation of this 3D reality, how we interact with this life and with people and all of that. So this is happening on that level, what we perceive as outside. So I'm opening up more of this central energy channel, because what we want is that more life energy flows. And the more life energy flows, the more it helps to clear and heal our system as well. So it's also life is helping us by doing that as well. And also life is then experienced more as just a flow, of unfolding of an experience in the present moment, one experience after the other. And with that, a lot of change in experiences coming in as well. Like there is the past and future is going to fully collapse. There is no experience of past and future anymore, for example. This mechanism starts breaking down and then eventually fully breaks down. And then more surrender is happening, and then eventually full surrender is happening. So the system will eventually fully surrender to life experience itself. There's nothing in the way, not wanting this or not wanting life to unfold, how it's unfolding, so resistance or fear of life unfolding and all of that. Then also emotions like wanting security and control and all of that are falling away, because there's just full surrender to life, and the trust in life is there then as well. First the trust, and then the knowing that this is all how it works. Okay, then I accelerate the life energy so that more of it can flow. Then I help it to flow more, so it flows from the root to the crown chakra, then falls back down in all directions and flows up again, and so on. So it's a constant flow. Okay, now that energy is coming in, contains the information of trust. So trust is coming in. The system needs trust right now. So trust is coming in, and this also helps the system to relax more, be more open, and surrender. So trust is coming in. Trust that everything is perfect as it is. Everything is there for a reason. And there are no mistakes. So yes, you understand this information intellectually, but this is more information for the system, so that the system can live more from that understanding and recognizes this as a higher truth. So everything is exactly how it's supposed to be. There are no mistakes. Then heart chakra. I clear certain energies out of the heart chakra. Identification. I want to have it my way. I want to have it my way. I want to have it different. I want to have it different. I want to have it different. I want to be in charge. I want to be in charge. I want to be in charge. I want to be in control. I want to be in control. I am in control. I'm controlling. I'm controlling. It's me. It's me. It's me. What's doing everything? It's me. It's me. I'm the center. I'm the center. I'm the center. I'm the center. So I clear those energies. Then first chakra, fear. I clear fear. I clear the energy of fear of losing control, fear of losing control, fear of losing control, fear of losing control, fear of the future, of something new, of the unknown, fear 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 of the unknown. So it always when I clear those energies, they like right away leave the system. You don't have to go through it experiencing them, and then also more light is coming in right away. So I clear the fear, I clear fear. So core fear is always the fear of dying. So I also clear the fear of dying, 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 fear of dying. Then heart chakra identification. I don't want to die. I don't want to die. So this is typically ego emotions or ego energies. I don't want to die. I don't want to die. And I want to be in charge. I want to be in charge. I don't want to be in charge. I want to be in charge. Clear those energies. And right away, the system is more relaxed, because these energies, they like, the system recognizes them as not of the highest truth, and they kind of making the system heavy and heavier as well, heavier. Compared to the light that's coming in, which is light and high vibrational. Then I open up the energy field more. Bring in more light. Then I clear some more energies, heart chakra, some blockages. I don't want to feel, I don't want to feel, I don't want to feel. So specifically low vibrational energies. I don't want to feel them. I don't want to have anything to do with them. I don't want to experience them. I don't want to have an experience of them. I don't want to have an experience of them. So I clear those energies. I don't want to suffer. 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 I need to protect myself. I need to protect myself. I need to protect myself. And often the misunderstanding is there. I need to protect myself from this world. So from the something that happens on the outside. But the outside is always just a reflection of what we have inside. So when we feel I need to protect myself from somebody or some situation, we always need to look inside, okay, what energies are there? And then we just clear them. And then there is no need for protection anymore, for example. So it's all about clearing the information that wants something, that needs something, that wants something different than its life is presenting itself. And it's always about what's life, how is life presenting itself in the present moment to me? What's my personal experience? So everything else, so what other people are experiencing or other people from other sides of the world and stuff, or even like your partner, your neighbor, it's their own manifestation in their own consciousness bubble. Everybody has like basically their own consciousness bubble. We have this collective consciousness, but still we basically have our own consciousness bubble. And so it's all about what do I experience right now? And this is all that exists, because the rest doesn't even exist. Because from the true nature point of view, everything is only manifesting when we look at it. And when we look away, it's gone. And this information also brings a lot of relaxation into the system. Knowing the knowingness that we are not in charge. Life is happening. Brings a lot of relaxation to the system because it brings surrender. So I clear more layers of I want to be in charge, heart chakra. There are just layers. I want to be in charge, I want to be in charge, I want to be in charge. I want that things are different. I want to change things. I want to influence. I want to influence situations, people, outcomes. I want to influence. I clear those energies. Life is perfect as it is. So it's coming in, it's neutral. And it's basically on us how we perceive it. And this depends on, of course, the level of consciousness we are, the vibration we're in, how many stuck energies we have in our system. But this is how it works. Just this understanding. So this understanding that there are multiple layers. That's coming in. And the understanding that it's about letting go of that's what's not of the highest truth, of the falsehood that's coming in, just letting go. And not like changing things on the outside, because they will bring betterment, if they bring betterment only for a short amount of time. It's really about just clearing the energies that are in the way so that we have a neutral space, so that understanding is coming in into the system, so that we can live more from that understanding. And now the energy of peace is coming in. It's filling up the whole system. So it comes in, the energy always comes in through the crown chakra and third eye chakra, fills up the body and then the energy bodies and the area around us. There's a lot of peace coming in now. I also fill up the heart chakra with the energy of peace. And the peace just feels so amazing, and it's nourishing the system so much. I clear just a few energy distractions, just a few energies that are popping up right now and are in the way of that peace. So, for example, energy, oh, I want to experience this all the time, or how can I get there, or how can I have this all the time, or how can I connect, and stuff like that. They're just distractions. Clear those. Just a few more energies are popping up. So heart chakra, I don't deserve this. Clear this energy. I don't deserve this. I don't deserve this. I don't deserve this. And I have to work hard for it. I have to work hard for it. I have to work hard for it. Clear those energies. And a few thoughts that are popping up. So clear thoughts. So let's sit with this peace for another minute before I finish the meditation. Okay, we are finished.
Okay. Oh, thank you. Now, no matter when they watch this, those who can feel will feel this.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Could you feel just a little relaxation or anything or nothing yet?
No, yes, I can feel the relaxation during the
Mm-hmm.
rhythms. I can feel that the it is. I don't know if it's a habit. There's just always an undertow of just a little bit of anxiety. Something's off,
Mm-hmm.
and it's been there for so long.
Okay.
It's been there for so long, and I've
Interesting.
so much work with Patrick, my teacher, other healers, meditations, and it would be it would be a godsend to release that.
I'm sure it's gonna go eventually. You know, everything is going eventually.
Yes,
It just takes a little bit of time, yeah. But
yes.
yeah.
Okay, Eva, that was incredible. I cannot wait to get this out. I'll probably drop it next week. I know a lot of people are going to be excited about this one. Um,
Sounds great.
I will put the websites and all of your contacts in the description. And for some reason, you were at 95% uploading. Now it's only at 50. So please don't hang up when we stop.
Yeah, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Is there anything else? Oh, you know what? There's one more thing. There's always one last question. What is truth to you?
I mean, to me, truth is that there is a highest truth for everybody, and it's very individual. This is truth for me. And we can recognize truth by when we hear a certain information or we feel an energy, and then the system resonates. You know, there is this answer. Okay, this is what it is right now, because the truth changes. You know, the more we grow, the more we expand, our own personal highest truth changes. So the highest truth can only be experienced in the present moment, and it's very individual.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Okay, we will wrap it up. Thank you so much. Again, don't drop off just yet, and we'll get this out to the world. And very much appreciate your time.
Yeah, thank you so much. That was really amazing. I really enjoyed it. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, we'll talk to you soon.